Okay, this is part 2 of the laws of exponent. All right, so this case we have we're looking at a division sign. See the little division sign there? All right, so that's the divide sign. All right, and what it's kind of like it's a fraction basically. And so the first thing I want to look at is my bases. Are my bases the same? And they are. So when you're dividing exponents with the same base, you actually will subtract the exponents this time instead of. So think of the opposite. It's the opposite of multiplying. When you're multiplying, you add the exponents. When you're dividing exponents, you're subtracting. So the opposite of multiply is divide, the opposite of add is subtract. And this kind of helps too. This divide sign here looks like a subtraction sign as well. See how it kind of looks like a subtraction sign? All right, so we're going to do one little problem here. And so I'm going to take a to the 6th over a to the 4th. All right, and when I do this, I'm going to take my base, and I'm going to take 6 minus 4, and I'm going to get a to the 2nd. Now, you could also look at it this way, and I'm going to rewrite it a little bit smaller so you can see it. You could think of, I always tell my students, like a bunk bed. So there's the top bunks right here and the bottom bunks here. All right? And so those are that's my bunk beds. All right, so on the top bunk we have 6 A's. On the bottom bunk we have 4 A's. If we match them, how many would we have left and where would they be? Well, you'd have 2 A's or A square on the bottom and no 1 on the you'd have A square at the top and no 1 on the bottom. So my answer would be A square. Just like what we got here. All right? And so let's go and look at another type of problem. What if I had something like this? All right, in this case, we'd say A equals 6 minus 8. Remember, we subtract the exponents. And in this, notice that when I do this, I get A to a negative 2 exponent. In another video, we're going to talk about how your exponent can't be negative. All right? When this happens, you really want to do the reciprocal of it. So you're going to think of a bunk bed. This is my bunk bed. We have an A to the negative on the top and we have a 1 on the bottom. It's just like if I had a 5 and that's a whole number and I want to make it a fraction, I'll put a 1 underneath it. So I have A to the negative 2nd exponent and I have a 1. Remember, you can't have a negative exponent, so this is why we're doing this. Alright, so whenever you have a negative exponent, you actually will move it to the opposite side, so it'll go in the denominator, and then we'll have no 1 on the top. So I always think of it, like I said, the bunk bed. I always talk about my brother. My brother, whenever he's negative on the top bunk, we move him to the bottom bunk, so he's happy. So now he is positive, okay? If he's negative on the bottom bunk, we move him to the top, and he's happy on the top bunk. All right. So that's how you would do dividing. So let's look at one more little thing, and then I'm going to go on. So let's say 3 to the 4th power, b to the 2nd power. We're going to say 2 to the 3rd power, and we'll just say b to the 1st power. We'll just say b. Well, we can make it b to the 4th power. Okay, so how do we do this? Now, there's a couple things you can do. You could actually write each of them out, just like we did earlier. And we can match them, but if you notice, I don't have anything to match them with the numbers. The numbers go with the numbers, so I can't really reduce my numbers, so they're going to stay like they are. But look at my letter B. My B, I can match those, and now I can see what I have on the bottom. So now you can see that I actually would have 2 B's on the bottom bunk and no B's on the top. But I'd have a number up there. So here's how we do it. We're going to just say 9 times 9 is 81. There's no letter on top. That's going to be 8 on the bottom with B squared. So this would be my answer.